Hello, my name is Colin Rankine, head teacher at Homeschool Social Enterprise. Now, the Bible story today will be about Joseph and his multicolored coat. Now, Joseph was the son of Jacob, and Jacob had 12 sons. Now, Jacob was a very wealthy man. He'd done well, and God had blessed him immensely with great wealth and great animals. He had lots of sheep and cows and lots of things as wealthy. So, the 12 sons of Jacob was getting on in years, but his last son Joseph was a bit different from the other boys. He was always telling stories, he was always jolly, and he was always having lots of dreams. And you know what? Joseph was actually very good at interpreting dreams. So one day, for Joseph's birthday, Joseph had from his father this wonderful, beautiful coat. It fastened lovely down the front. It had lots of different colours. It had pink and blues and purples, all the colours of the rainbow. It was a wonderful coat, lots of different materials. And Joseph would strut around teasing his brothers with this coat. And his brothers were very annoyed. But they knew that their father Jacob was extremely fond of Joseph. Even though he had 12 sons, they knew that Joseph, the little one, was their father's favourite. And unfortunately, this made the brothers very jealous. Now, jealousy isn't a very good thing. Jealousy can lead you to do things that you wouldn't ordinarily do. Now, because Joseph kept having lots of different dreams, he got up one morning and said, I dreamt that you brothers had to bow down to me. And the brothers said, we've had enough. And the next night they plotted to do something not very nice to Joseph. So the father, not knowing that there was this jealousy between the brothers, said, come on boys, I want you to take the sheep to the faraway pasture and let them dwell there to eat the green grass and then bring them back a few days later. So Joseph was completely unaware of what the brothers had in store for him. So he left happy and jolly. And his brothers, that night, while Joseph was sleeping, they wrapped him up, beat him, and plotted what to do with him. And they plotted that they should kill him. And one of the brothers said, no, don't kill him. And they said, no, let's throw him into a big pit. So as they got ready, as Joseph was dazed, he didn't know what was happening. He was covered. As they were about to throw him into the pit, they saw some merchants and they sold Joseph to these merchants who were on the way to Egypt. So the brothers had rid of him. They'd stripped him and sold him. Now, the brothers knew that they had to tell the father what had happened to Joseph. Now, looking after sheep is very dangerous. Lots of wild animals, bears, lions, can eat the sheep and whoever's looking after the sheep. So they killed a lamb and they poured the blood on Joseph's coat. Now, when they poured this blood on Joseph's coat, they made up the story and they collaborated together and they went home to see their father. And they went, Father, Father, we have found Joseph's coat, and it looks like he's gone. He's been killed by a wild beast. His father looked upon the coat and the blood, and he wept. He was sad, deeply sad. He didn't know what to do. So the brothers carried on with their lives, happy that what they'd done. Joseph's father saw the blood and wept bitterly. My son, my youngest, is dead. What shall I do? And he was ever so sad. Now, Joseph's brothers knew that their father Jacob had accepted that Joseph was gone. So no more did they have to put up with his silly little stories and interpreting different dreams. And we must bow down to him. Ha! No more. So this is why it's not good to be jealous and not to be good at just other people's things, because it can lead you to do bad things that you wouldn't normally do. So Joseph, now distraught, extremely unhappy because he'd been beaten and sold to merchants and led away to Egypt. Now, in Egypt, the merchants sold Joseph to Potiphar, and Potiphar put him to work. Now, because Joseph believed in God and prayed regularly, he quickly rose through the ranks. Now, Potiphar saw that this Joseph was slightly different than the rest. And he said to Joseph one day, Joseph, you've worked well for me. I would like you to run and become the head of this house, to run my financial affairs. Now, Potiphar knew that Joseph was very honourable and had worked hard for him. So while Potiphar was away doing the king's business, because Potiphar worked for the king, Joseph made sure that he kept the household running well, that the servants were paid on time, and things were just as Potiphar liked. Now, Joseph respected and liked Potiphar because Joseph saw him, that he had brought him from a very bad place, and now he lived in a very fine house, and he'd been entrusted with a very important work. So Joseph worked very hard. But again, jealousy rose its ugly head again in Joseph's life. Now, Potiphar had a very beautiful wife. Now, his wife liked Joseph and wanted Joseph to do as she wanted him to do. And Joseph was having none of it. He says, no, I'm not doing that. Your husband, Potiphar, is a wonderful man, and you're asking me to do things that would make him sad. So when Potiphar got home, Potiphar's wife made up a story against Joseph and said to her husband, Potiphar, Joseph has been very nasty to me, won't do what I say. And she made up a great big story against him. Now Potiphar was very angry. I took this slave in, I brought him, I put him at the head to arrange my finances and my business, and now he's insulting my wife. Now Potiphar didn't know that his wife had lied to him, because lying is bad, and that his wife was a jealous woman because Joseph hadn't done what she wanted him to do, which would have been bad against Potiphar. So Potiphar was angry with Joseph and threw him into jail.